Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. The Sea is Calling You, and I'm Ajit Matthew, your cruise career consultant. Previously, I've made a couple of videos talking about what are the different types of jobs available on cruise lines and how to apply for jobs on ships. This video is going to be talking about the top 5 tips before you apply for a cruise line job. You might be a fresher out of college, or you might be a professional with years of experience. These tips are going to help you ensure that you get a good head start in your application process. There are a few points in this video which might need a little bit more of detailed explanation, and I assure you that I'm going to be creating some videos in the future very specific to them. But as usual, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and on the bell icon to get the most updated videos about how to plan your career at sea. So let's look at the tip number 1 today, and that is passport. So top 5 tips. The first tip is passports. Yes, a passport is something that you require to get off your country, and then in the future, every time that you enter and exit a country with your cruise ship, you need a passport. So pointer number 1 over here, when you apply for a passport, apply for one with 60 pages. Yeah, I've had trouble myself when pages were 30 pages and they got over, because every time that you enter a port or exit, they might stamp your passport. So that requires a lot and numerous amount of pages there. So 60-page passport is a good idea. And also, if you already have a passport, ensure that you double check if there is no ECR stamp on it. That says immigration check required. That restricts you from traveling to a lot of countries. So ensure that when you get your passport, you don't have that ECR stamp on it. Okay? So that's tip number 1, that's passport. So let's get into some other very specific ones for cruise ships. And those are certified courses. Top 5 tip number 2 is STCW courses. So if you're serious about career at sea, there are a few things that you will need to spend money on. Alright, and that one is to complete the 14-day STCW course as mandated by the DG of Shipping, that's Director General of Shipping India. What is STCW? STCW stands for Standard of Training and Certification of Watchkeeping. Now, this is a mandate that you need to complete these 5 courses, which are 14 days full-time courses that you need to complete. So this is something that I would recommend that you do right now. Ensure that you get that certificate because it's valid for 5 years, and then you put it in your resume whenever you apply for jobs at sea. This definitely gives you an upper hand to ensure that you are prepared for the role. My detailed description below, I'll be specifying about the list of approved DG shipping institutions where you can do these courses. Alright? Top 5 tips. Tip number 3, register for your INDoS number. So whenever you apply for your STCW courses and you register yourself into an institution, ensure that you mention to them that you want to apply for your INDoS number as well. INDoS stands for Indian National Database of Seafarers number. So that number is required to be registered, and every seafarer who is going on assignment to sea needs to have that number with them. So it's very important that when you register yourself in the institution for the STCW courses, you ensure that you also apply for your INDoS number. So when you get your certificate for completing your STCW courses, it also has your INDoS number in those certificates as well. Okay? Top 5 tips. Tip number 4, apply for your CDC. So how do you do that? The CDC is what we call as a continuous discharge certificate, which is issued by the DG of Shipping, the Director General of Shipping. Now, it is previously very difficult for you to get a CDC with Indian standards, but right now they have made and liberalized the process so much more easier and smoother that you can do that once you've completed your STCW courses. So once you've done your STCW courses, you've got the certificate with that and the INDoS number, you need to also get a medical certificate saying that you're fit to be at sea. Now that can be done from the list of doctors which is approved by DG Shipping, and I have mentioned that down in the description as well. So once you get your medical, once you get your STCW certificates with the INDoS number, you need to submit it along with your 10th or 12th pass certificate. All this is just the basic requirements, and once you submit that online, you are able to apply for your CDC. This generally takes about a month or a maximum of 2 months to get you your new CDC, and once you have that, you can definitely be one of the top candidates to ensure that you applied from India for a job at Cruiselines. So that's being said, we spoke about number 1, passport, number 2 about the STCW courses, then we spoke about INDoS number, and number 4 we spoke about CDC. The tip number 5 is about your resume. And I have a couple of pointers which are very important. Number 1 is definitely, we spoke about these tips before, you mention them and highlight them in number 1 about what you've been able to do about STCW, INDoS number or CDC. Number 2 is to ensure that you highlight that specific role that you are looking at. Previously in my video, like I said, there were jobs which you're talking about what are the available jobs. You choose that job that you want to apply for, and you ensure in your resume you highlight everything that you've done previously. It could be internship, it could be a summer job, it could be anything that you've done which supports that application process, and highlight it so that your application will be considered by your recruiter before anybody else's. So those were my 5 top tips for you before you apply for a job at sea. And thank you very much for watching this video. And as usual, if you have any questions or comments, please ensure that you put it in my comment box so I can reply to you or make my future videos based on that. And as always, listen, the sea is calling you.